I was in foster care for about 12 years of my life. I lived in 12 different placements. Then I got sent to the children's home. That makes 13, and this is my 14th placement.
I was about 7 or 8 when I was in foster care, and my mom wanted to get me back, so she got me back, and I went back into foster care, and she didn't want me anymore.
I guess I was 7 years old when I was taken away from my family. Because I was taken away from my family, it revolved around to child abuse, physically, sexually, to drugs.
Each year, approximately 24,000 American teens reach adulthood while in foster care, and they head out into the world alone. Many are still in high school, are jobless, without a place to live, without transportation. They have no resources, no role models, no safety net. Most age out of institutions where they have limited opportunities to learn the life skills necessary to be successful. Or as one foster alumni put it, when you're in an institution, everything's done for you. There's no room for growth. When you get out, how do you know what to do?
I had no support, nobody there to look after me, to help me move forward, to put me on the road I should be going on, and I just really fell off the map.
Without a family, without a single adult to rely on, without a diploma, without a job, without hope, our former foster youth end up homeless, drug addicted, pregnant as teenagers, or imprisoned. My childhood almost took me there too, to that place of all alone in the world. My time in the system set me up for failure. My name is Ashley Rhodes Corder. For almost 10 years of my life, I lived in 14 different foster homes. I'm so grateful that I finally found an adoptive family and the strength to overcome those challenges. But not all of us are so fortunate.
One of the sources I've used to become more informed and shared with many people is something called the National Scientific Council on the Developing Child. And they've been publishing a lot of very interesting work since about 2004. Well, their very first piece was called Children Develop in the Context of Relationships, very simply. In the very first paragraph, it says, even their brain architecture depends on the quality and reliability of these relationships. It goes on to say that there's no evidence that those relationships are more important at one age than they are at another. So not only is it important for young children, it's important for teens. In fact, it says that it's important for human beings across the lifespan.
I'm currently homeless. I had lost my job. Like I said, when I was 15, I did get kicked out. I got a job. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. Just going from house to house, paying a little bit of the rent, and basically just trying to make it work, and nothing ended up working.
Without parental guidance and mentoring, former foster youth are left to fend for themselves. They must find transportation, jobs, clothing, and a place to call home, usually while they're still enrolled in high school. Those who have spent their childhood in the foster care system usually have lived in several foster homes, switched schools several times, lived in many different cities, have had adults come into their lives only to leave without return, spent the end of their childhood in an institution, and have lost most of what they had treasured along the way. This unstable lifestyle makes it difficult to successfully manage in an adult world. Without supportive relationships or positive role models, youth who leave foster care often struggle. Most of these youth may not have graduated from high school, and studies have shown that only 2% of Florida's foster care children graduate from college, despite being provided free tuition from the state. They do not have mentors or parental figures they can rely upon in the event of financial difficulties or challenges, and often begin a rapid decline after a single setback. Sadly, within 2 years after foster care, 6 out of 10 youth are homeless, incarcerated, or dead.
You always have to think about where you're going to get your next meal. You always think about where you're going to sleep the next night, where you're going to keep your clothes because you're walking around with backpacks or whatever, you know, where you're going to keep your clothes while you walk all around town to just hang out and not do nothing else better to do, you know.
It's a lot of things going on down there you couldn't pay me to do again, you know. I ain't ashamed to say I was doing prostitution down there. I was on drugs, you know, I was doing it all. But I was doing it for me to live, you know. So,
also it has to be focused on connectedness. And connectedness is a word I'll use here, but it really means that young people experience consistent affection, that they feel like they belong in a family or a group, and that happen as early as possible after they come in the system. In my work, in the projects we did around the country, I met young people through their social workers that probably had not heard the words "I love you" or "I'm proud of you," or had experienced a true hug from a person not paid to do it in a decade or more. And there are consequences for humans in developing in that way.
Yeah.
This is why it is so critical for adults in our community to foster a connection with teenagers in foster care. Fostering Connections is a program designed to connect adolescent foster youth, especially those currently residing in an institution, with adults in the community. The purpose is to give these kids what they deserve: a fighting chance to overcome, an opportunity to reach their potential, and a chance at success.
I think any adult that cares enough to actually stick there and try and better you, be a positive influence, can help and will help. There's someone there to talk to and find out the answers of how to furthermore step forward than take a step back. It helps you in a lot of different ways, emotionally and physically.
Well, Gloria taught me how to drive. I'm not the best parker, but I can drive. My support system is great. I get to see Gloria, and my kids get to go do lots of things with her, and they just love her. Jerry walked me down the aisle because he's like my dad, and my kids can call them grandparents, and I'm just so close with them, and I love them so much. And we just have such a great connection still, and it's amazing. Without them, I don't know where I would be. So it's hard to really say because they impacted me a lot. I think with enough love and guidance, it can definitely change a kid.
Here are 2 ways you can improve the odds for a child in the system. 2 ways you can be the hero for a parentless child. Become a life skills mentor. Be a hands-on mentor. Give a child the opportunity to learn by experience. Take him out to a nice restaurant, teach her to drive, go to the theater, a museum, a ball game, go fishing, tour a college campus, share a holiday tradition.
I think it's very critical for foster youth who are aging out of the system to have mentors or others that they can look up to. If they have those individuals that are mentors, it could shape the way that they think about themselves. And I think that anyone who would be willing to mentor or provide a family to a youth who's aging out of the system, you might be that angel to that youth, and they would never forget you.
Become a guardian, foster parent, or adoptive parent. Rescue an older child from a childhood of living in a facility. Institutions are not homes.
It's really a quality relationship that has to be focused on, and that takes time. And it takes very special people who have an inherent need or desire to want to be with that child or can develop that over time.
Husband died, the dog died, my son moved away, and I got 2 cats and they just didn't quite do it for me. I was just concentrating on myself all the time. And then I read a book called The Happiness Project by Gretchen Cohen. And she took 12 months and decided on different things to make her happy. But it was essentially deciding what would make you happy, and that is being around kids. I chose teenagers because I really enjoy teenagers. You can carry on great conversations with them, and I try to teach them that when you're in a family, you talk about issues, you stand by each other, you don't give up on the children.
So I think I'm impacting them in all kinds of ways that they don't know. I'm teaching them traditions, the traditions that we have, and I'm teaching them morals and a value system. I'm supporting them in their education. I'm supporting them in their goals in life. I'm encouraging them to have goals. You know, this is investing in a child compared to in a group home where people are just, you know, doing what they can during their shift. So I think I'm having a big impact, and hopefully in the future, They'll look back on this time and they'll realize, how much we built into their character. I've taken kids out to dinner that have never ordered off a menu. I've taken children shopping who have never done their own clothes shopping. They don't know what size they are. They don't know what to look for prices. They don't know how much they can buy with $200. They can't order a Subway sandwich. It's embarrassing to them because they've never been in a Subway. I mean, it's little things that people don't think about that you have learned within your family, and that these kids are not going to have that opportunity if they're never connected to an adult and there's no adults involved in their life as they transition into adulthood.
I lived in 2 institutions when I was in foster care. My life experience has taught me that children need families and not programs. We need places to return to, people to rely on, support systems that will be there for us for the rest of our lives. Give a child the experience of being a part of something empowering and life-changing, you and your family.